Hey movie fans, welcome to Greenlight This, where we take the films we wish existed and bring them to life, at least in theory. Every episode we dream up alternate cinematic universes, spin wild sequels, and storylines so good you'll wonder why Hollywood hasn't called us yet. My name is Landon Davis, but you can call me Squiddy, and I'm here with the Captain Cold to my Mr. Freeze, Travis Medore.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age! This is Travis, everyone. Hope you're doing well.
Guys, welcome. If you haven't listened to last week's episode, to part 1 of phase 1 of the Burton-Verse, and our Batman primer, give those a listen, as those will give a good foundation to what's to continue in our journey.
Yeah, please go back and catch up if you haven't. So as nerds, we often talk about who would win in a fight, and we mentioned in our Batman primer how all of Batman's villains are different psychoses, just different kind of mentalities. So, who in DC is going to win at therapy?
Okay, so winning just means that they're probably the most emotionally mature.
Yeah, like the most successful, like they're going to graduate.
So I feel like almost every superhero is going to be knocked out.
Yeah. They all have so many issues.
Majority of them have orphan issues of some kind that they have not processed. Then when you look at like the significant others, you have like the Loises and the Iris Wests and whatever that all have like commitment issues usually. Like that's how they're often written. I mean, the therapists are going to win because they're going to make so much money to anyone that's not in Gotham. Because a therapist in Gotham just becomes the next villain.
That's literally what happens. Scarecrow was literally a therapist. Harley Quinzel was literally a therapist. So
Doctor Strange
was a therapist.
There's Dr. Arkham was a therapist.
Yeah, Dr. Arkham.
So at least there's a few off the top of our head. I gotta say, Batwoman seems pretty emotionally mature. Like, she has commitment issues, but I'll say Batwoman is pretty up there. I also love Barbara Gordon. She obviously goes through stuff and then like has to deal with the trauma. But I think when we're looking at her in like her mature years, like later years, I think she's usually well written where she's got it together. She's stable. She usually doesn't have the trauma that most people do. So off the top of my head, I can list 2 women that seem stable.
Yeah. I wanted to say Commissioner Gordon, but then I remembered how they really did him dirty in the Harley Quinn cartoon show, where they made him just a complete drunk psycho.
I mean, didn't in Batman Year One he have an affair?
I think so. Yes.
Like he's also been divorced in the Dark Knight universe.
Yeah.
So he's got some
never
issues.
Mind. Let's not go with Jim.
You know who's doing good is Detective Chimp.
An
underappreciated character.
Oh, actually, Black Canary.
Ooh,
because in the
therapist
too. She's the therapist in the Young Justice show. They have her as like their therapist. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I think we've got some good options here. And then, not to mention what would happen if you were a couples therapist or sitting down for therapy with the whole Justice League, like a group therapy session. That would be nuts.
Chaos.
So, Greenlighters, why don't you grab a Slurpee, and it's time to greenlight something new.
All right, hit the light. Roll camera. Wait. Hold on. Where's the script?
All right, Greenlighters. Last time we covered the first half of the Burton-Verse. We introduced Superman, Wonder Woman, and completed Tim Burton's versions of Batman 3 and Catwoman. In DC Comics, Wonder Woman, Supes, and the Bats are known as the Trinity. They're the big 3. And with them being the foundation we have set up, we can now work towards the next big thing in DC Comics, forming the Justice League.
Woohoo!
So to unite the 7 founding members, we need to get next on our roster, the Flash.
Oh, the Flash. So, yes, this would be coming out potentially around 1997, keeping it close with the other ones. Again, if you're unfamiliar with the time frame, feel free to go back and give the previous episode a listen. So, our summary for the Flash. Barry Allen, happily engaged to Iris West. Barry has an accident at work as a forensic scientist. Over the next few days of recovery, he realizes he now has super speed. He recognizes his abilities are like that of the Flash. He travels across the river from Central City to Keystone City and meets Jay Garrick. Jay was the original Flash during World War II and teaches Barry what he knows. One day, Star Labs' lead facility is robbed. Barry, as the new Flash, meets T.O. Morrow and Silas Stone. Their robotic technology has been stolen. The equipment is twisted and used by the evil Trickster and Captain Cold, giving Central City their first supervillains. The criminal duo, while on a heist, kidnap Iris. The Flash fights the twisted duo and saves Iris. Barry reveals he is the Flash and proposes to her. She accepts again. Jay and Barry race, but Barry beats Jay, who calls him the fastest man alive.
Aww. Yeah, so I love The Flash. The Flash series that was done on the CW of the late 10s was really well done. It was probably one of the better shows in that Arrowverse that they made. And yeah, I think I've just always had a sweet spot for the Flash. In the original Justice League cartoon, he was a fantastic character. Anyone that's kind of familiar with the Flash may get a little confused because there's no tragic backstory of his mom dying and his dad being arrested for it.
Both his parents are still around. Yep. Like, he's happily dating someone.
That story didn't exist yet.
Oh, didn't.
That was not done until the DC Rebirth series in I think 08-09. So I'm really glad to see Barry getting to be happy. And even though his parents we don't think are dead, I like the idea of introducing Jay Garrick as kind of as the alternate father figure, an alternate mentor. I just think it'd be fantastic. Barry is famously known to Batman as what Batman wishes he would have been if his parents would have lived. Like, he is the good model to him of what a man should be. So I just kind of wanted to play with that, and I really wanted to mess with the villains of the Flash Rogues Gallery, and I originally, I think, had up to 4 villains. But I realized once we wanted to bring in Jay for this movie, it just really changed our premise a lot. Yeah. So we talked about who was going to be Barry Allen, and we decided that for our Barry Allen, our Flash is Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah,
I think what we end up seeing with How I Met Your Mother, even his work on Doogie Howser, you really get this. He's very smart, but he can be very energetic. He can be bouncy.
Oh, yeah.
He can just be all over the place. I wanted to pay homage to the Flash show of I think it was 1990-91, so it may have still existed in this universe, but we're going to ignore that. And I wanted for Trickster Mark Hamill.
Yes.
Mark Hamill did such a good role. I love him in it. Captain Cold, I wanted to pay homage to our alternate universe, and John Wesley Snipes, who was Flash in the Flash series, I think would make a great Captain Cold.
Yeah.
So instead of being a hero, make him a villain. And again, in the Flash series, later he eventually becomes the Jay Garrick. So I thought it was kind of a great way to bring him in. I will introduce my versions of the 4 cast members. So we have Iris West, the love interest, T.O. Morrow, and Silas Stone, who both are the Star Lab scientists. I'm hoping that we're going to bring those in later. So, teasing something for later on. Yeah. And then Jay Garrick, a legendary first superhero in DC Comics. So my casting for Iris West is playing off of somebody you cast just last episode.
Yes.
I wanted Alicia Silverstone as Iris West. I thought it'd be great to let her have a full role. She doesn't have to worry about a superhero costume where that was an issue, and where she had some harassment in the Batman and Robin movie. Batman and Robin movie. And then T.O. Morrow. I thought, who would be a great genius that could eventually become a super baddie? I love good old Brent Spiner.
Ooh, I do like Brent.
If you don't recognize the name, he was Data in the Next Generation of Star Trek, and just a fantastic actor. For Silas Stone, somebody who, again, can become kind of important later on, I went with James Avery. James Avery, who was the uncle in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He often plays such a moral, good father figure, specifically from Fresh Prince, that playing a more faulted father figure, I think, would be a great setup for something that's going to happen later on. And then finally, Jay Garrick. I really wanted a classic actor. I wanted somebody who was just really well known at the time. Somebody who fought in World War II. That's kind of one of the big things. So I chose James Stewart, famously from It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, okay.
To be this version of Jay Garrick. He can just do that deep, slow draw to his voice. And it would have worked out really well where he probably would have passed around the release of this movie. So I think the movie would have ended up dedicated to him if he was the Jay Garrick of this movie.
Okay.
So Travis, who did you cast?
Okay, my casting is definitely a little bit different. For Iris West, I chose Melinda Williams. So she's known, I primarily know her from her work on The Cosby Show and Sister Sister.
Okay. So you were jumping ahead to Iris is not white.
Yeah. Something about like just the interracial, like Iris West and everything going on there.
Yeah, she's a great actress. Yeah, now that I see her face, yeah.
Tio Morrow, I chose Oliver Platt. Oliver Platt is kind of one of those like lesser known actors from like the 90s and aughts.
Oh no, he was so good on The West Wing. Come on, I need somebody on this podcast that's a listener to watch The West Wing. Yeah, he did a lot of great television work. I know him huge for television work around that time. Okay, I like that. I can definitely see the villain side of Oliver Platt.
Yeah, like he has the scientist, but then he could probably bring the gravitas with being the villain side.
Yeah.
Our Silas Stone, since this is going to be a pretty foundational character, and we've already taken someone from the Matrix, I figured Lawrence Fishburne.
Oof, Lawrence is so good. I think we've talked about Lawrence for about 3 different roles in the DC universe.
He's pretty versatile.
Yeah, he is.
So I really like him as the thought for Silas Stone.
Okay.
And then for Jay Garrick, I chose James Cromwell. Again, one of those like older names. Like he's done a couple other things. I primarily know him from I Am Robot as like the main doctor scientist guy that created like the 3 Asimov laws.
Yeah, he was in Jurassic World.
Yes.
Without Rebirth. Oh my gosh. Dark Fallen Kingdom.
Fallen Kingdom. As like basically the
MASH. Was it MASH that he also did?
Maybe MASH.
Show?
Yeah.
He did one show.
But yeah, so those are my casting choices.
He was in Babe. How did we forget?
Oh my
Babe?
gosh! Yes, he's James Cromwell is the farmer in Babe.
Yeah.
That'll do, pig.
Yep. Yeah.
That'll do, Barry.
Fantastic
That'll do.
Actor. Okay, I can see that. Well, next in our movie, I think Tim Burton would love this one. I mentioned how he wanted to do something more noir.
Yeah.
And we see with movies like Mars Attacks that he did, he likes kind of the 50s kind of campy, but dedicated to monster movies, just very, very old Hollywood. Yeah. So I think something like that where it'd be a movie fully black and white, so noir style, give it a class of detective vibe. And let me introduce you to Manhunter, set for release in 1998. Bloodhaven receives the criminal overflow of Gotham City. P.I. John Jones accepts a job from reporter Alexander Knox about a missing Dr. Langstrom from Gotham University. Jean uses his powers to investigate and meets one of Dr. Langstrom's students, Barbara Gordon. Jean discovers the doctor's owed money to criminal Sal Maroni. But when he confronts Sal, the gangster admits he had nothing to do with the missing scientist, as a massive bat monster attacks. Jean reveals his Martian form, saving Sal and stopping the monster, and helping it transform back into Dr. Langstrom. So kind of a classic monster movie, a little bit of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, a who's who. You have the red herring of Sal Maroni being the misdirect. Yeah, I love this. So we wanted to bring back another character from Batman 1989, just again tying everything together, and Alexander Knox, which was the other
he was
reporter.
Like the main reporter working with Vicky Vale.
And he was a great actor. I think the actor Robert Wool has returned to that role one other time in the Arrowverse.
I believe so. Yeah.
And then we talked about somebody for John Jones, who is also Martian Manhunter, so that's where the title of the movie comes from. And I wanted Dennis Haysbert, who is just a fantastic actor. I'm pretty sure he did Gargoyles. I think that's the voice that he did. But he's done Fences. He did like dozens of action movies around this time. I think it's just right up his alley to play this slow, calm speaking detective figure who's thinking things through. Martian Manhunter's powers include him like phasing. He can fly. But he's never really wanted to use his powers around humans. So I think that's why this would be such a great form for him.
He's a very, very reserved hero, which I really like.
There have been more boisterous versions or louder versions of him, especially in the last decade. And I didn't ever connect to those as much as I did with.
I didn't really care for those versions.
And then our Barbara Gordon was somebody that you forgot we had casted.
Yes.
Was Christina Ricci.
So in our previous episode, I fan casted Christina Ricci as our Zatanna, whereas you fan casted Jennifer Connelly for Zatanna. Christina Ricci would definitely work as a Barbara Gordon by this point.
Yeah, and she would have been very young at this time. I think she would have been only 17, 18 at the time, like barely 18. But I would love to see her set up to get to be Batgirl in the Bat family. That's kind of where Barbara Gordon goes. So the only two characters we don't have casted is Sal Maroni and Dr. Langstrom / the Man-Bat. So Travis, who are you casting?
Ooh, so for Sal Maroni, this one was kind of tough. I kind of teetered on a couple different ideas, but I decided on Jon Voight.
Jon Voight, okay.
You may recognize him from, he was one of the military guys in Transformers. He was also in Holes as one of the camp counselors.
Yeah. He had the pierced ear.
Yeah.
He's the Grandpa in National Treasure. That's the big
Grandpa in National Treasure.
Yep. Yeah, he was the villain in the first Mission Impossible movie. Yeah, fantastic actor.
Fantastic actor. So I really like the thought of him as Sal Maroni.
Okay.
And then Dr. Langstrom / Man-Bat. I definitely picked someone I feel like could match a Tim Burton-esque Man-Bat. So I went with Tim Robbins, which he was the president in Mars Attacks, as well as Andy Dufresne in Shawshank Redemption.
Okay, he wasn't the president in Mars Attacks.
Yes, he was.
No, in Mars Attacks, the president is Jack Nicholson.
Oh my goodness, you're right.
Everything you just said is wrong.
What was I? He was the president in something.
No, he wasn't Howard the Duck, though.
He wasn't Howard the Duck. Was it?
This is going to be an off mic. We're going to have
to
do that off.
I know it. Austin Powers. He was the president of Austin Powers.
That's right. The $1 million bajillion dollars joke. Yep.
That's what it was.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
So you're casting him as Dr. Langstrom. Interesting.
Yes.
So
he
I don't know how you're editing. That's going to be chaos. Okay.
I might just leave it in.
I love both of those. My casting, I went a little bit different. So I wanted another just classic mobster guy for Sal Maroni. And I went with Joe Pesci.
Ooh, Joe was a really good choice.
And it would have been fun to let him loose a little bit after his wonderful Home Alone movies. And him get to go past, has a present, and actually get to say maybe one or two bad words.
Bring out the good fellas in him.
Yeah, bring out the good fellas in him. And then for Dr. Langstrom, I really wanted somebody who could be a tragic mad scientist.
Okay.
And really wanted to play off of a role that he does a few years from this time in Spy Kids 2. And my Dr. Langstrom, I chose Steve Buscemi.
Okay.
Which is just such an odd choice, but I also kind of just love the idea of Steve getting to play just Dr. Langstrom.
Yeah.
Because, if you don't know who Dr. Langstrom is, he does turn into Man-Bat, so he has a giant mutant bat form, very Hulk-esque. And
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun character. So we've kind of entered our old noir movie. So our next film is very sci-fi. We are going to go intergalactic at this point. And Travis, you want to introduce the next one?
Yes. Bring out your rings, because it's time for The Green Lantern. This title will be Green Lantern: Hal's First Flight. This would be set to come out in 1999. So just at the turn of the century. Summary. Hal Jordan, test pilot for Ferris Air, spends the day testing off the newest in air defense. Hal and Carol go out celebrating a successful day, but when Hal leaves her, he witnesses an aircraft crashing. He rushes to the scene. An alien lays there dying, and a green ring flies onto his hand. As he connects to the ring, a beam of light shoots into the sky. The alien disappears. The next morning, 3 aliens stand over Hal: Sinestro, Tamare, and Kilowog. They tell him he's a Green Lantern, and they bring him to the Lantern Corps' home planet of Oa. The Guardians introduce the Corps and its purpose to defend the galaxy. Kilowog, Tamare, and Sinestro will train Hal together. As Hal learns to use the tools and weapons of his ring, he takes the Lantern Oath. Soon he and Sinestro become a pair and start fighting criminals. Slowly, Sinestro gets more angry and abusive. Sinestro is taken to the Guardians to be banished from the Corps. But Hal gives him one last chance on Oa, and Sinestro uses that to get a yellow ring from a weapon storage. Sinestro, now a Yellow Lantern, fights and kills Tamare. Kilowog and Hal fight Sinestro, who believe only through fear can crime stop. He plans to kill the Guardians, but Hal stops him and Sinestro flees Oa. As the first mid-credits scene, Hal goes into the Lantern control room. Kilowog says, "Hal, there's an emergency on Earth."
Yeah, I love Green Lantern. I think he is such a fantastic character.
He's a really fun character.
The fact that there are multiple versions, you get the space cops thing, the fact that every emotion becomes a separate lantern ring color at some point. Like there's so much concept to do. And it is just part of the DC universe that we need to enter space.
Yeah.
And so the Green Lantern's just the perfect way to do that. Kilowog and Tamara are 2 of my favorite lanterns outside of our Earthbound lanterns. So I think that this was a great way to introduce it. I'm interested to see where the Green Lanterns are going to go in our real world, as the Lantern series, I think, comes out next year on HBO Max. And yeah, I just love where we can go with this. Travis, do you want to introduce our preset characters?
Yes, so the characters that we've decided on, we have chosen Kurt Russell as our Hal Jordan and Green Lantern. And then following Kurt, who definitely, he has a lot of action background, so we think
very comical, but also
very comical, but he could also be very, very serious. And then as Guardians, we chose just a conglomeration of Warwick Davis, Danny Woodburn, Tony Cox, Martin Kleba, Deep Roy, just as some of the Guardians.
Yeah, I think getting to do practical Guardians and not CGI everything, especially when we're only messing with 1999 technology, I think is great. And those actors, they deserve the work. They are all fantastic actors.
And I think it would just be funny seeing Warwick Davis and Deep Roy just kind of tied up to strings, being floated around a soundstage. I'm sure that might be torture to them, but that's just an amusing thought for me.
See, I love them
both.
I was imagining an upper balcony that they're just standing on, and everything is green screened around them. But okay,
they don't have to fly.
They can be on diapers and hanging and bouncing. Yeah, and then Travis, you want to introduce our characters that we've got to decide between?
Yes. So the characters have yet to cast is Kilowog, Tamar Ray, It's Sinestro and Carol Ferris.
Yes, and so it's Kilowog. I love Kilowog. If you don't know who he is, he's this large alien, but he kind of has just that heart of gold. He's the guy that, like...
He's the Sweetums of the Green Lantern Corps.
Once you've earned his respect, he's just that buddy cop that's just like, yeah, let's go. And I would love to see Clancy Brown take on that role. Famously, he voices Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob. He was in Shawshank Redemption as the guard. So he's done a lot of acting. He's done some prosthetic work in The Mandalorian. So I think we can still do practical for Clancy. And then for Tamara Ray, he has a little bit more of like a duck-billed alien face, a little bit more of a slender shape. I want somebody a little offbeat, but I love the voice of, so I think he could do this, is Andy Serkis.
I could see that.
I would love to see Andy take on Tamara Ray. And then Sinestro. I mean, Sinestro, in my mind, just has to be British.
I have the same thought with my casting, but we'll get there.
He is just a classic villain. He just has that... Like, he feels like the guy that would twirl a mustache and just be like... I went with Timothy Dalton.
Okay.
Let's get James Bond of a decade before this, I think. And
just about, yeah.
Make him like the villain. And then to play as Carol Ferris, I took another person who would have, lost a job due to our changes, and I took Nicole Kidman as Nicole Ferris.
I do like Nicole.
I think that she'd do great off of Kurt Russell. And for anyone that doesn't know, Carol Ferris does eventually become a villain. So the idea of giving Nicole the opportunity to ring up and do some fighting later on, I think could be fun for a later movie. Travis, who did you cast?
Yeah, so for Kilowog, I definitely still went with that bigger, stocky build, the deeper voice, but with a very sweet temperament. I chose Michael Clark Duncan.
Ooh, I love Michael Clark.
Yeah.
I believe he even voiced Kilowog in the Ryan Reynolds movie.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think he did, if I remember correctly.
We may have to look that up after. Yeah. We'll find out if we're wrong or not, but if you guys want to still comment, please do so.
Yeah.
Tamar Ray, this was really hard for me.
Yeah.
I really wanted to find someone who I feel like could work well with the potential facial prosthetics, as well as like providing like just a decent voice and character work. I went with Bradley Cooper.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. Was he acting in the 90s?
He was acting in the 90s.
Man, I forget about Bradley Cooper was acting. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so he was acting around this time, so he would be, and again, because of the makeup, he probably wouldn't be as recognizable, but I think he could do a good job.
Interesting. Okay, I like that. The other person that I thought about at one point was Doug Jones, who has done a lot of practical.
I do like Doug.
He was famously, oh my gosh, what is his name in Hocus Pocus?
Billy.
He was the Billy zombie in Hocus Pocus. And then, did a lot of movies in the Hellboy universe. And stuff,
a lot with Guillermo del Toro.
So, he was one that I thought about for Tamara Ray. But then I was like, if I'm giving him a job, I want to get him a sequel. I don't want to make him a one-movie character. Okay, cool. And then who was your next guest?
Sinestro. So, like you, I went British. I chose Jude Law.
Jude Law is so good. I did think about Jude Law myself.
Yeah.
But then I was like, Jude Law, I feel like was a baby in 99. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe.
But I love Jude Law.
But it was a toss-up between Jude Law and, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name, but he was the bad guy. He was the villain knight in A Knight's Tale.
Oh my gosh.
I'm blanking on his name, but he was my other choice.
Oh, oh my gosh, what is his name? Now I can see the face. Rufus Sewell.
Yes.
Well, I don't know how you say his last name. He would be another great actor, honestly, as Rufus. Man, I like Rufus a lot.
Yeah.
How did we not cast Alan Tudyk as Tamara Ray now that we're saying this? Oh my goodness. But he was a baby actor at this point. Okay.
And then...
So we've got to put Alan Tudyk in something later on.
We have to, yeah.
Get ready for next episode when Alan Tudyk's in 3 movies.
Okay, and then Carol Ferris, I chose Marissa Tomei.
Okay.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, she currently has been Aunt May in the Spider-Man Homecoming universe.
Yeah.
For like the Marvel movies.
Yeah, that's right. And then, she did a ton of stuff in the 80s and early 90s. Yeah.
80s, 90s, yeah. But yeah, like she's...
My cousin Vinny.
Yeah. Very sweet, very beautiful, but, she has that look of, like, if you cross her, like, she will kick your butt for it.
Yeah.
Which is someone that Hal needs, especially if we're going Kurt Russell.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Okay, I like that.
So, yeah, that is my casting choice. Now, Squiddy, by my count, we have almost all 7 members of our Justice League.
Yes, we do. There's only one more that we would need to complete the 7. But I think, kind of like we end up seeing with Marvel and Justice League, the studio would probably getting pretty antsy at this point in 99 that they want the big movie to come. So
this is a lot of movies sprawled out over almost 10 years before we get to our Justice League.
Yep. So we are getting to Justice League 1999.
Ooh.
Summary for this one is we begin with 3 lead scientists at Star Labs in Metropolis. They have an exotic starfish that has been rushed into their lab. It is massive. As they examine the creature, an eye appears in the center, and it unleashes smaller starfish out of its surfaces and onto the faces of the scientists. And in unison, they say, Starro. We change to Gotham City. Batman, Robin, and the new Red are all fighting crime together down at the docks. But as they fight, a crate opens and a Starro lands on Robin's and then another one on Red's faces. Batman has to now fight off his 2 compatriots, Robin and Red. And a man shoots up from the bay nearby, and he sinks Robin and Red into the ocean. It is Aquaman who introduces himself to Batman. And then he explains that this alien has infected his home city of Atlantis under the ocean. Batman leads Aquaman to Jean the Martian, explaining that he had read the reports of Dr. Langstrom, and that's how he knew where to find the PI detective. Jean explains that Starro is a hive mind and a planet destroyer. The team rushes to Metropolis now to gather Superman and Wonder Woman. Metropolis has fallen almost completely to Starro. As they fight, Green Lantern arrives, explaining that Starro has a prime body, prime entity, and that needs to be destroyed. Batman contacts Star Labs in Central City, where Silas Stone can calculate the location of the prime Starro. Silas says he will send help in a flash. The Flash arrives, so a united 7 can now fight Starro. On their way, many allies, such as Zatanna, Red, Robin, Jimmy, Lois, Carol, have all been taken over by the Starro, and they have to fight off their loved ones as they now defend a massive kaiju-like creature of Starro. But together they fight and take down the monster, freeing humanity. At the end, we jump 6 months later, and Metropolis thanks the heroes by giving them an old train station for their headquarters, a Hall of Justice.
Ooh. I like that we went Starro with, like, the first one. I feel like other Justice League openers, they go right to, like, a bigger bad, like Doomsday.
Well,
or Darkseid.
And I love that Starro was the first. If you go back to the comics, the very first cover, it is the Justice League fighting Starro. You actually see 3 or 4 members of the team held by Starro as they're fighting this big starfish monster. I think it would be fun them having to do practical and CGI in 1999 to make it. We don't see Starro in live action until the Suicide Squad movie that James Gunn did in, I think, 2019? Something like that? 2020 maybe?
I think 2020. 21 maybe.
And yeah, Starro is just this fun, weird creature. But it's been played off of so many times because it is a mix of face huggers, like we see with the Alien franchise, and just a fun monster. So we only need to introduce Aquaman in this movie, really.
Yeah, we'd be bringing everyone else back that we've casted.
Yep, everyone else. We're bringing in a lot of side characters. And we decided on Carrie Elwes to play our Aquaman. If you don't know who he is, he was the hero of Princess Bride.
Yes.
I almost said Princess Diaries because in my head those always get confused name-wise. Cary Elwes does that. If you were a Psych fan, you know Cary Elwes pops up in Psych like every other season or something. He plays a fun character there.
He was the bad guy in Ella Enchanted.
Yep, he was the bad guy in Ella Enchanted.
As a random throw-off.
Yeah, like a fun, great actor. I would love to see kind of a mix between either the very preppy version of Aquaman and the more like tough Aquaman.
Tough, reserved. Like, yeah.
There's kind of a fun place where I think Cary Elwes would inhabit Aquaman. And then I mentioned at the beginning those 3 Star Lab characters.
Yeah.
I felt like we really did need to pay homage, because we could at this time, to our 3 founding DC actors. So Adam West, who was the first Batman on TV.
Yep.
Christopher Reeves, who was the first Superman. And then Linda Carter, who was the first Wonder Woman. I think it'd be a great cameo to let those 3 be the scientists.
Oh, yeah. Great gag suits. The star is getting out of control.
And
we have to alert somebody.
And I'm sure while Adam and Linda could overact to make up for Christopher not being able to do too much acting, his accent was, I believe it was 94 or 95.
Yeah.
So, and I did kind of do some research. He seemed like he could talk and stuff at this time. So it probably would have only been, a few minutes of a scene, but I think it'd be a great homage to that.
Oh, absolutely.
But with the Justice League being formed, we have now completed phase 1 of this universe. The League has been formed, so I think we can now head to post.
Yes. On that note, let's head to post.
Good. That's a wrap. Let's go to post.
So, we're now at post. Our listener question for this week. We have both talked a lot about Batman. What other DC heroes are your favorite?
Ooh, so I did mention it when we talked about the movie, but I do like the Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
I think they're just such a fun, cool idea. I would say outside of like the main heroes, I really like Hawkman and Hawkgirl. I think it's so cool that they have this Egyptian background. They have a love story that's supposed to run throughout time. It's just kind of an awesome duo. Will they, won't they? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Like, I think it's just such fun characters, and who doesn't dream of flying? Like,
right?
It's a classic thing. The other one that I would love to mention that is probably lesser known to a lot of people is Vixen. She kind of has that Black Panther-esque, like, or Storm, probably more like Storm, where it's just like powers of Africa, and she has this necklace that gives her different abilities for like different animals, so strength of an elephant or speed of a cheetah, things like that. And yeah, I just think that she's a very cool character, and just I would love to see what she looks like in a live action form. Plus, I think she makes a love interest for Jon Stewart, who is the next Green Lantern after Hal. So maybe that ends up coming up. Who knows? What about you, Travis?
For me, if I had to pick a Justice League member, one of my next up behind Batman, because I just love Batman, I'm going to go with Martian Manhunter. I really love him. I think his powers, abilities, his backstory is just really cool. Like, I don't want to say like it's overly dramatic, but it's just like he's a Martian, he's from Mars, there's rampant racism there, he leaves and he comes to Earth and he's like, I'm just going to be a hero here. Yeah, it's like, that's cool. Yeah. He can fly. He can like go through walls. He can shapeshift. He can read minds. Like, those are cool abilities. If I had to pick like my next up DC character that I really love, is John Constantine. I love John Constantine. I have a couple of the Hellblazer comics that John stars in, and yeah, just he's a magician, kind of like Zatanna, who we talked about already, but he's an anti-hero. He kind of does stuff if it benefits him, or if he's just like, oh, I got to take care of this because I don't think anyone else is competent enough to do it.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I love John as well. I mean, we've appreciated him in multiple projects that he's appeared. Yeah, I have so much love for him.
Yeah. Well, Squiddy, anything you want to greenlight for our listeners this week?
Ooh, okay. So we ended our Justice League on Starro. Yes. And I wish I could remember the name of the episode, but if you can find it, there is the animated series Batman the Brave and the Bold.
Ooh, yeah.
Which is set around like 2009. one of the later seasons is a Starro episode. I think it's like a part 1, part 2. It's really cool. If you watch that whole season, you actually see heroes disappearing.
Oh,
and
really?
they each get covered with a Starro. So it's not until the season finale when you kind of get to the Starro episodes. And I think that is a great thing to kind of look and see this familiarity. You get more than Batman in it. Brave and the Bold is one of my favorite Aquaman actors or versions where he's just so campy and over the top. That's what I would greenlight. What about you, Travis?
Ooh. See, I feel like I had something and then it went away. We've been talking so much about Justice League, about superheroes, DC Comics.
Mm-hmm.
I might say like one of the animated Justice League movies. For those of you who are unaware, there's an entire animated Justice League universe that the DC has, and they're pretty good movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, like pick any one of them, and yeah, feel free to sit down. They're not overly long, so maybe you can get through 2 of them in a single night.
Yeah, they're great movies for sure.
Well, got a movie pitch of your own? Love these movies or think we could have cast better? Or have a question for us? Message or tag us on Blusky, Instagram, TikTok at Greenlight This Pod. We might feature it in a future episode.
Follow us on Letterbox, where we post movie reviews, and our watch list might hold hints to what's in production. And if you enjoyed this production, please leave us a 5-star review and subscribe so you don't miss the next premiere. But now that we had so much fun completing Phase 1 of the Burton-Verse, we are going to continue it.
Woo!
We are going to head into the 2000s with the Burton-Verse Phase 2. Catch the beginning of that next week, or on Tuesday.
Greenlight This is self-produced, written and directed by Landon Davis and Travis Medor. Sound department, me, Travis Medor. Casting, us, and hopefully one day, Michael Keaton, you are the best Batman. Music, Buccaneer by Zenial from freemusicarchive.org. Special thanks, you, our listeners, the real studio heads who greenlight every episode just by pressing play. This has been Greenlight This. Until next time.